Hey, Jason Hanson here. I'm a former CIA officer, and I know the importance of power. Make sure you can stay powered up anywhere you might be, all over the world, or especially in your house. So today we're going to talk about generators. I'm going to go over one of the solar generators that I own. This day and age, if you don't have a generator, or two, or three, it is craziness. It's nonsense. Unless you have a financial reason, which, hey, I totally understand if you can afford it, but if you can afford it, you don't have multiple generators, you have no idea how bad the United States infrastructure is. You have no idea how many adversaries around the world, China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, are trying to take down this nation's power grid. How they probe it all the time. What is probing? That means they do an attack, but they purposely do an attack where people can see what they're doing and basically realize it's them. So I'm trying to think of a better way to say this. Basically, they're intentionally not covering up their tracks. They're doing an attack because they watch how the local water supply or local electric company fixes it. That way they know how they're going to fix them, and that way they know how to create a virus or hack that goes around it. So basically they're probing, saying, okay, we're going to pretend that this is a real attack, you're going to fix it, but we're really watching you fix it so we know how to do a horrible attack in the future. Which is why you've got to have multiple generators to protect your family when the lights go out, or even, of course, when the lights just go out normally. Maybe it's a natural disaster, it is winter time right now as I record this for you, and in my town I'm pretty lucky. The lights do go out, but when the lights go out, it's usually for, a couple hours, maybe 4 hours at most. So I don't have to worry about, like, my buddy who lives in Puerto Rico, when his lights go out, they're going out for 12 days at a time. For me, a couple hours. Well, that being said, I still have multiple generators. I have a gasoline generator. It's the Honda gas generator. Runs great. Remember, when you are using gas generators, put the premium gasoline in them. Don't put the cheap stuff. So personally, I own a bunch of old beat-up cars. None of my cars are fancy. I don't own any Ferraris or BMWs or any of that. So I'm always putting the cheap stuff in my cars. But when it comes to your gasoline generator, always put premium. So, as I said, I've got a gas generator. It's the Honda. I have a propane generator. It's a Buffalo Sportsman. I love propane generators because propane you can store indefinitely. You can put in your shed in the backyard, which is where mine is. And propane, it doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees out. It doesn't matter if it's 2 degrees out. Propane will last forever and is fine. Also, right here, this is my solar generator. As much as I love gasoline generators, as much as I love propane generators, I love solar generators because they're silent. You can run them inside your house. I can easily charge them in my house when I have power. Now, of course, the downside with a solar generator is if you live in a place that doesn't get a lot of sun, then you may be up the creek without a paddle. So where I live, I get a ton of sun. I don't have to worry about not having sun. We get sun like, 300 plus days out of the year. But some of my buddies who live in more rainy areas that don't get sun, they've told me they've had problems, which goes back to why you have a gas generator, why you have a propane generator, why you have a solar generator. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Now, one of these solar generators that I own is what you're looking at here. This is the Jackery. This is one of the bigger models. It's a 1500 watt. And the reason I get, all my generators are higher up there, meaning I don't have a generator that's like a 200 watt or, something tiny, is because when my power goes out, since it doesn't go out very often, for me, I'm typically using my generator to keep my fridge running. So for instance, when the electricity went out in my house not too long ago, it was out for a few hours. That time I actually just hooked up my Honda generator. I had a big long extension cord snaking into my house, let it run for a few hours, power came back on, my fridge was fine. The reason I use my Honda generator in that time is because you got to keep these generators running when it comes to the propane, when it comes to the gasoline. So you want to start them at least once a month and make sure that they run. Because what too many people do is they start their generators when they need them. They've been sitting in the garage for years and they don't run. So at least once a month, just set a calendar reminder and run your gas generator for 20 to 30 minutes, run your propane generator for 20 to 30 minutes. And as far as solar generator, just check the power. So I have 6 kids. I keep this stored in my house. One of my kids found and started playing with it. So when I checked the power not too long ago, it was about 80%. Not a huge deal. I just plugged it in, charged it, good to go, back to normal. So getting back to the solar generator, you can see I'm kind of gonna sneak around here. You can see it's got various inputs for charging. It's got the USB ports. It's got multiple plugs for whatever you need to plug in here. Of course, I've got my cigarette type lighter that I can plug into there. So it's got plenty of different options when you're trying to plug things in. It also has this flashlight on the side here. I'll turn it here. Flashlight is not super bright or fancy, but hey, it's kind of a bonus. It works if the lights are out to help you see around as you're carrying your generated through the house or whatever you might be doing. As I said, for this generator, this is stored in my house. For these solar type of generators, you want to store them in a temperature controlled climate. So don't leave it outside when it's 120 degrees if you live in Vegas, Florida, etc. Don't leave it outside when it's minus whatever where I live, which can be freezing and go minus 14 not too long ago. So store these in your house. Don't store them in the elements. Your other generators, sure, store in the elements as long as you're starting them once per month. Now, in addition to this generator when you buy, you obviously get the whole generator system here. It's got all your cords that you need here. It's got the ways that you hook it up to your solar panels for recharging. You can see the big battery pack here for recharging. So it's got all your bells and whistles to make sure you can hook up everything up to this. This is one of the 100 watt solar panels that I purchased. And all you do is you unfold it. You can see it here. When you are buying solar panels, buy more than one. I know people, believe it or not, they've got their nice solar generator and they have one solar panel. So have multiple, that way you can charge quicker, that way if something happens to one of them, that you have other options for charging. So what do I use this one mostly for? Well, I have used it for the fridge. You can take care of my fridge. Mostly it's camping, because these days when we go camping, it's my wife's version of camping, which means it's not rugged, it's not roughing it. So if we want to plug something in like her fancy air mattress, this is what we're using to blow up that air mattress or any other devices or gadget that she needs. So wrap things up here. Please have multiple generators, gas, propane, solar. Invest in a quality generator. Don't buy the cheapest thing you can find, because we're talking about keeping the lights on for your family. So this jack right here, the solar generator was a pretty penny. It wasn't inexpensive. So save up, spend your money on quality things. And there are plenty of different solar generators you can buy, but buy something that is going to last you several years. With the way the country's looking, with the grid, it's not just going to be a short-term scenario, it's going to be a long-term, which is why gasoline, you're not going to be able to stock a ton of gasoline. Propane, yes, I have a lot of propane stored, but solar generators can outlast all that. So get one. If you want to learn more about ways to power up your family, keep the lights on, make sure you click below. You're going to see one of the simplest methods that special forces use, that I use, that intelligence operatives use. So have a wonderful rest of the day. Make sure you keep the lights on for your family. I'm former CIA officer Jason Hanson, and I'm out of here.